Res Arcana. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going over Res Arcana and how it plays with 2 players. Now Res Arcana is a 2 to 4 player game. We're going to be controlling a mage and putting down different artifacts and building these monuments. And in the end, you're trying to be the first one to score 10 or more victory points at the end of a round. Now let's see a little bit more how to play. At the beginning of the game, each person is going to start off with a mage. Now each one of these mages have a little bit different powers from one another. You'll start off with some artifacts, and you'll start off with 3 in your hand. Now these artifacts may give you a collect that you get to do every turn to get you more essence, may get you victory points, they may be creatures, they may be dragons, or they may just be ways to build up your essences a little bit more. Each person will also start with an item. Now at the end of the round, you'll have to switch out these items, so you can't just keep the same item throughout the whole game. And you'll be using your essences throughout the turn to be playing cards, collecting more resources, trying to get gold to buy these monuments, trying to get the resources you need to collect these tiles. And throughout the game, you'll be earning these victory points. And at the end of each round, you're going to check to see if anyone has 10 or more victory points. And if somebody does, whoever has the most victory points will win the game. Also, the first player token will pass in between each other. The first one to pass for the round, the first one to be done, will also get this point marker, which acts as 1 victory point. So that's a pretty just on the surface kind of a overview on the game. Now let's see what I thought about the game. Now I really like the components in this game. Everything's kind of on this stockier kind of cardboard. There was nothing I needed to punch out. I really enjoy the storage tray. Everything really fit neatly in the box. Plenty of different cards for you to use. The places of power they feel really weighty in your hands, and you feel like when you obtain it, you really feel like you've achieved something in this game and you can move on. The same goes for these items. It's really neat to just interchange these items a little bit. This game has a perfect, table size for 2. I really enjoy it. It's a nice compact space. You could easily fit this on a card table with some space to spare. The rules in this game took me about 30 minutes to learn. It was pretty easy to teach. Now there is a lot of symbols on these different components, the places of power, the monuments, the artifacts, even the mages. Everything in this game has some sort of icon on it that does something, and usually there will be multiple icons as well. What is neat about this game is the references they give you, as long as you just follow those. Some of the cards, some of the places of power do need a little bit of references in the book. But once you kind of get those down, the gameplay flows nice and easy. Now your first couple games are going to be a little bit slower because you're going to need to, reference what some of these icons do, but the setup has a nice reference sheet. The round summary you can put between the 2 people, and you just flow right down. It shows all your actions you can do for the turn, shows you the exact steps. The rule book's very well laid out, and I do like that about this game. Is it's very compact. The rules are well explained. Just you got to get over that hurdle of the Arcana, the icons in the game. So the gameplay in this game, I would consider this a light engine building game, but an engine building game nonetheless. I really like how you can kind of decide when you want to play cards, and each round you may get sort of dividends from your cards. You may play a card that costs you 2 resources, 2 of these essences, and you'll get 1 essence per round. There's other cards where you'll have to trade in essences to get 3 of a different type or something else. So you'll always be upgrading your essences, trying to get more. If you've played the game like Splendor or something like that, where you have to decide when you get off the kind of engine building type, when you get off the collecting resources, and when you go on to buying, is a really neat facet of this game. So the first few games we played with just a standard deck of cards. kind of the starter decks. Then we moved on to the draft variant, and I think that's where this game really shines, where each person will get 4 cards. They choose one they want to keep, give the other 3 to the other player, and you keep going until all the cards are taken. Then you do it again to form your 8-card deck. Now you don't know what order these are coming in, but then you've seen every card that are going to be in your artifact deck that you'll get to draw, one a turn, or with items you'll get to draw multiple. Now, there's these mages that have different powers. You get 2 mages at the beginning of the game as well, and then you'll be able to choose which one you want. So it's more replayability, more variance in the games. These items, every turn you have to swap, like I said. You don't know which monuments you're going to get. These are double-sided places of power. You don't know if you're playing the random kind of which one you're going to get as well. And that's what I think will really keep the longevity of this game up a little bit, is that there's so many options. You're never going to see the same cards every game. You're going to always have a different mage. Different monuments are going to be face up. In a 2-player game, that's what you really need to keep things kind of spicy in a game like this. I do give this the edge over Splendor a little bit, where you're trying to get your resources and decide when to buy. But in Splendor, you kind of know, you have your 5 resources that you're spending and collecting. But in this game, there's more actions you can do. There's more choices you can make. And like I always say in a 2-player game, choices really enhance the gameplay. So as far as the luck versus strategy component goes, there is a high amount of luck on what cards you may see throughout the game, what 2 mages you're dealt. But there is a lot of strategy too, because you're going to see these cards going back and forth during the draft. And which card you want to play from your hand. Your resources are limited, but you always have choices on the items. There's always choices to buy, and it's kind of how you get there. Do you really want to stockpile that gold so you can get the monuments quickly, which may give you a bonus? Do you want to buy some of these places of power quickly for the bonus? Do you want to focus on your engine a little bit more? Or there are some attack cards that can kind of hinder your opponent. Now, attacking isn't the biggest thing in this game. I'd say, though, that it may be one of the only interactions rather than taking one of the items out here. And it's not the biggest thing to get attacked. You may lose a resources or 2 if you don't have any life. And it may hinder your opponent, but it shouldn't be the sole strategy. But they're definitely cards. Some of those dragons may give you victory points and be able to attack. So it's kind of a good balance they've struck. A lot of there's some luck, but a good amount of strategy, and the attack interactions is pretty low, so you can really focus on your engine in this game. The playtime for this game, we got down to about 40 minutes once we got going. I think we can get it to 30 minutes if we've really mastered all the cards. We've played this several times. We really do enjoy it. Just the high variability. There's a couple cards we even haven't seen, and we can reference the book. And kind of get some clarification. There are a couple cards that are still a little bit confusing, but as far as most of the cards, we've seen them. Everything's pretty straightforward. Like I said, if you just look at the references you have. So the playtime in this game is short enough to be a quick game that you can knock a few games out in an evening. So is this game good for 2? And I really do like this game for 2. I could see it being played with 3, maybe 4, but with 2, there's almost no downtime. And one of the keys I really like about a 2-player game is, am I either thinking about something all the time, or am I really engaged? And this game, you're really engaged because the actions are very quick. You play a card, it's the other person's turn. They do a card's action, it's back to your turn. There's a lot of little actions you can take, especially in those mid rounds where your decisions will be pretty important, whether you want to buy the monuments, get the places of power, or if you really want to gather up those resources to have a pretty big turn in the future. So I really like this game for 2. It plays quick. There's enough engine building. There's enough strategy in here, and there's enough luck kind of slash replayability that this game will continue to be fun. Now, you could put expansions in here and add more of the same, which may add to the longevity, or it could be a game that you pull out for a weekend. Say you play about 5 times in a weekend, at 30, 40 minutes a pop, and just have a really good weekend, put it up for a little while, and bring it back out. And those are the games that I think are also really good in a 2-player collection. Patchwork, Azul, Res Arcana, is kind of a new addition to that style where we can pull it off the shelf, play a few times, put it back up, and we've had a great time. I don't need to look at the rule book again, for full rules. Like I said, the references in this game are fantastic. I really like this game. It plays quick. There's enough thought. There's enough strategy. But at the same time, it's light enough. I can just pull off the shelf and we can get to playing. So I really enjoy this game for 2. And I hope you guys enjoyed the review on Res Arcana for 2. And until next time.